Okay, so this is 9.4 solving quadratic equations by factoring, day 2. So this is the one where we actually use the things we factor to find the y-intercepts, or the x-intercepts, my bad. So we're going to deal with the zero product property, which basically says if two things are multiplied together and the answer is 0, one of those numbers has to be 0. Because the only way to get a multiplication problem to turn to 0 is one of them is 0. So if you had something like a times x, and that equals 0, either the a or the x must be 0. So in what we're doing today, we're going to actually find what the two x-intercepts are, or where, and this is that same picture from last time, where they cross on the x-axis. So, all right, so again, this is two things multiplied together. These just happen to have multiple things in the parentheses, but one of these has to equal 0. And that's just what this says over here. Either of those have to. So in order to figure out what our possible x's could be, we set each of these factors or parentheses equal to 0 and just solve it. And that tells us our x. So, or in this case, our d. Okay, so then we have 2d plus 6 equals 0. So then we just subtract 6. So 2d equals negative 6. We divide both sides by 2. So then d equals negative 3 for that one. So it would cross at negative 3. Then we do the same thing with this one. So 3d minus 15 equals 0. Plus 15 plus 15. So 3d equals 15. Then we divide both sides by 3. So d equals 5. Okay, so if we want to check them, and honestly, on your assignment, that's not necessary. But we go ahead and we use these. So we have 2d plus 6, and then 3d minus 15 equals 0. So I'm going to move this over here. Okay, so now I'm going to try and use the negative 3 first. So we're going to check negative 3. So we'll just come in here and do 2 times negative 3 plus 6. And that whole thing multiplied by 3 times negative 3 minus 15. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 plus 6. And then negative 3, or 3 times negative 3 is negative 9 minus 15. So then negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So 0 times negative 14, so 0. Oh, and we need to set this equal to 0 all the way down. So 0 times negative 14 is 0. So 0 equals 0. So that checks out. And I'm just showing you that it does this. You don't have to. So then we're going to check 5. So we'll come in here and do 2 times 5 plus 6, 3 times 5 minus 15 equals 0. Sorry, it's almost off the page. So then 2 times 5 is 10 plus 6, so that's 16. And then we come here, 3 times 5 is 15. So 15 minus 15 is 0. So 16 times 0 is 0. And if you notice, each of these answers made one of the parentheses 0. So that's the whole deal. Okay, so then, if it's not already, you need to have whatever it is equal to 0 in order to solve. So, this example, we need to move the 3c over. So we're going to subtract 3c. So then we have c squared minus 3c equals 0. Okay, well, as you can see, there's not 3, so we can't really factor this. But if you look, we can simplify it by pulling a c out. So we'll put a c here, and then we have c minus 3 equals 0. So this one's a little bit different, but still we have two things being multiplied by each other. So we're going to set just the plain, this first one equal to 0. So this one's easy because all it is c equals 0. And then we bring the other one over here, and we have c minus 3 equals 0. So then you add 3, so c equals 3. So there's our two answers. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, next one. Same thing. We need to bring this over, so we're going to add 10x. So we have x squared plus 10x equals 0. And again, this one, there's not 3 pieces, so we have to figure out a way to simplify it a different way. So we already know that this is just x equals 0. Then we'll have x plus 10 equals 0. Minus 10, x equals negative 10. So there's our two answers there. Okay. Now we have other ones that just have different things we have to do to them. So this one is one thing, the 3n, multiplied by the n plus 2. So we're just going to put this equal to 0 and this equal to 0. So 3n equals 0. If you divide both sides by 3, n still equals 0. Then we have n plus 2 equals 0. Subtract the 2. So n equals negative 2. Okay. So then this one is kind of like the one on the last slide. There's only 2 pieces, and so we can't factor it. So we're going to pull out, and it looks like we could pull out an 8 out of the 8 and the 40. So we'll pull out an 8 and a b. So then we're left with b minus 5. Okay. So then we set 8b equal to 0, and we set b minus 5 equal to 0. Divide both sides by 8. So b equals 0 and 5. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. If I am, go ahead and just pause the video. Okay, so now we're going to factor and solve. So this is just things we've done. So this one doesn't have to be rainbowed, so we just want the factors of, let's see, so this one's going to be one of each. So we want the factors of 24 that subtract to 5. So 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8. So that looks like a good one to me. So then we're going to put X, or Y. It's always good when you do the right variable. So Y and Y, and then we have 3 and 8. And we need it to be a positive 5, so the 8 needs to be the plus. So then we set that equal to 0. So now we do what we've just learned how to do. Set each of these equal to 0 and get Y. So then we have Y minus 3 equals 0, and Y plus 8 equals 0. So plus 3, so Y equals 3, minus 8, so Y equals negative 8. So there's the 2 for that one. Not too bad. Okay, so let's try this one. So there are 3 things, but they aren't set equal to 0. So we need to get this to be the ax squared and then the bx and the c. So in order to do that, we need to move our 9x over. So we'll subtract it, and we're going to put it right here. So then the whole thing turns into 3x squared minus 9x minus 12 equals 0. Okay, so if you look, 3, 9, and 12 all can let's see. Okay, so we're going to go with rainbowing. So we have x squared minus 9x minus 36. So we need 2 things, and there's an add and subtract. So we need 2 things that subtract to 9. So 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, which 3 and 12, I believe, subtract to 9. So we'll go ahead and do it. And we got to remember that those equal 0. So x, then we'll do our 3 and 12. And because this is a negative 9, our bigger number up here needs to be the negative, and then the plus. And then remember, you multiplied by 3, so you need to divide by 3. Don't forget that. Okay, so then we're going to have x plus 1 and then x minus 4 equals 0. And actually, okay, we're going to go with that. So then we set these both equal to 0. So then x plus 1 equals 0 and x minus 4 equals 0. Plus 4, minus 1, so x equals negative 1 and x equals 4. Okay, then same kind of stuff, except we have too many terms. So we need to actually move this 45 over because we need this to equal 0. So minus 45, So 81 minus 45 is 36. So we're going to have 25y squared minus 60y minus 36. And I'm hoping, no, I don't think it is. This one's going to be rough. Equals 0. So the only thing that can come out of 25 is 5. And 5 can come out of 60, but not 36. So we're going to have to rainbow this. 25 times 36 is 900. So this is going to be a fun one. Okay, then we have a plus and a minus, so we need it to subtract to 60. So 1 and 900, 2 and 450, 3 and 300. Let's skip down. Let's see. So if we did 10, it would be 90. If we did 15, it would be 15 and 60, which isn't going to get you 60. So let's see, 900. So just out of sense of time, it would be 30 and 30. Because 30 times 30 is 900, and then, oh, I need to write this. Y squared minus 60y minus 900 equals 0. Okay, so then we factored the 900. We got 30 and 30. So we'll multiply. So we're going to go y. So, nope, it can't be 30 and 30. Let's see. Okay, so I just realized what I did. And 81 minus 45, it originally said minus 36. It should be plus 36. So they're minus and minus. So my apologies. That was bad. Okay, so minus 30 minus 30. So that will get us negative 60. Then remember we have to divide by 25. Well, as you can see, these are the same numbers. So we're actually only going to have one answer for this one. So if I reduce these both by 5, it would be y minus 6 over 5 and y minus 6 over 5. So then we move that. So 5y minus 6, 5y minus 6 equals 0. Okay, so then we obviously don't have to do this twice because it's the same number. So I'll just do 5y minus 6 equals 0 plus 6 plus 6. 5y equals 6 divided by 5. So y equals 6/5. So this is an example of you can actually get fractions for your answer. So hopefully that made sense. Okay, then your assignment is page 593, number 12 and 14, and then numbers 28 to 40 even. So it's a fairly short assignment, but be careful. Let me know if you need any help. Good luck.